There is a major and alarming development coming from the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, where the scale of aerial warfare has reached a new and unprecedented level. According to recent data reported from the conflict zone, Russia has launched the highest number of long-range drones and missiles in a single month since the start of the war, marking one of the most intense phases of aerial attacks so far. Ukraine's Air Force has confirmed that during the month of April alone, Russia carried out thousands of drone and missile strikes across multiple regions of the country. The scale of these attacks highlights how the war has increasingly shifted toward long-range drone warfare and precision missile strikes, rather than traditional frontline battles. What makes this development particularly significant is not just the volume of attacks, but also their consistency. Russian forces have maintained near-daily aerial bombardments, targeting critical infrastructure, cities, and strategic military positions across Ukraine. On average, Ukraine has been facing hundreds of drones and multiple missiles every single night, creating continuous pressure on air defense systems and emergency response units. Despite this, Ukrainian defense forces have managed to intercept a large portion of incoming threats, showing strong resistance against the sustained assault. However, the intensity of the attacks has still resulted in significant damage. Several waves of coordinated strikes have hit industrial zones, energy infrastructure, and urban areas, causing destruction and casualties in multiple regions. One of the largest attacks during this period involved hundreds of combined drones and missiles launched in a single night, making it one of the most powerful coordinated aerial assaults of the year. Ukrainian officials reported casualties and widespread damage following these strikes, highlighting the ongoing humanitarian impact of the war. At the same time, both sides continue to use drone warfare as a key strategic tool. Russia has increasingly relied on long-range drones to overwhelm Ukrainian air defenses, while Ukraine has focused on intercepting and neutralizing incoming threats using layered defense systems, including radar tracking, electronic warfare, and anti-air missile systems. Another important aspect of this escalation is the role of interception rates. Ukrainian military data suggests that a significant percentage of incoming drones and missiles are being shot down or disrupted before reaching their targets. This includes both direct interceptions and electronic interference that causes drones to lose effectiveness mid-flight. Despite these defensive successes, the scale of attacks means that even a small percentage of successful strikes can still result in serious damage on the ground. This is why analysts describe the current phase of the war as a war of attrition in the skies, where both offense and defense are constantly evolving. The strategic goal behind Russia's intensified drone campaign appears to be multi-layered. On one hand, it aims to exhaust Ukraine's air defense systems by forcing them to respond repeatedly to incoming threats. On the other hand, it targets critical infrastructure such as energy facilities, transport networks, and military supply chains in order to weaken long-term resistance capacity. Meanwhile, Ukraine continues to adapt by improving its air defense coverage and increasing international cooperation for advanced defense systems. Western-supplied missile systems and radar technologies have played a key role in improving interception rates and reducing the impact of large-scale attacks. However, the conflict is also becoming increasingly complex due to the scale and frequency of drone usage. Modern drones are cheaper, faster to produce, and easier to deploy in large numbers compared to traditional missile systems. This has allowed both sides to escalate aerial operations without the same level of logistical constraints that existed earlier in the war. Experts analyzing the situation suggest that this shift toward mass drone warfare represents a new phase in modern conflict, where technology, production capacity, and electronic warfare capabilities are just as important as traditional military strength. In addition to military targets, civilian areas continue to be affected by these strikes, raising international concerns over humanitarian conditions and infrastructure stability. Repeated attacks on urban regions have forced emergency services to remain on constant alert, with air raid warnings becoming a regular part of daily life in many parts of Ukraine. Despite ongoing diplomatic efforts and peace discussions in the background, the intensity of military operations on both sides shows no clear signs of reduction. Instead, the pattern of escalation suggests that both Russia and Ukraine are preparing for a prolonged conflict with no immediate resolution in sight. In conclusion, the latest data from the battlefield highlights a critical reality. The Russia-Ukraine war has now fully entered a high-intensity drone warfare phase, where massive aerial strikes, rapid interception systems, and continuous technological adaptation define the nature of the conflict. The situation remains highly volatile, and further escalation cannot be ruled out as both sides continue to expand their capabilities in long-range drone and missile warfare.